Hello mamas, we're back for stage 2 of your postpartum core work to help heal your core and help you reconnect to those deep abdominal muscles so that you can safely return to your exercise regimens and to heal and keep your pelvic floor intact. So today we're going to use the prop of a Pilates ball. This is a nice squishy, I think this one is the 7-inch Pilates ball. If you don't have one of these at home, the one piece of equipment you're going to need is I have a hand towel that I've rolled up to match the diameter of this ball. So if you don't have a ball, no problem. Just grab a hand towel and roll it up, and we're going to use that to help get into our inner thighs and deep abdominal muscles. So you've conquered stage 1. Now we're going to work on some breathing. So we're going to come down to the mat and place my ball off to the side. And I'm just going to go ahead and lay on my back. So here you have gravity working for you and you have the feedback of the mat. So I really want you to let yourself sink into your mat, and you're going to imprint that spine. When I say imprint that spine, there's a nice natural curve of your low back that's present so that when you first lay down and your feet are on the mat out in front of you, you have this space under your low back, and that's a natural space. So an imprint is where we close that space, so you press lightly with that low back into your mat. Now we're going to keep that imprint, and we're going to inhale, and you're going to feel the rib cage expand on the mat. So you really want to be feeling like you're breathing into your rib cage all the way around. Deep inhale through the nose, and then as you exhale, I want you to envision your diaphragm, that's your breathing muscle, pull all the way up into your thoracic cavity or into your chest cavity. And at the same time, that is when I want your pelvic floor to contract. So the pelvic floor has to contract and release. A contraction of the pelvic floor would feel like you holding in the flow of urine. So when you exhale, I want you to feel like you're holding in your urine, okay? So as you inhale, you relax that pelvic floor. So we're not going to tinkle on ourselves. We're just going to relax it, and you're not going to keep it tense, because the other part of pelvic floor issues is keeping too much tense energy down there. So you do want to let it relax. So you're going to inhale and relax the pelvic floor, and exhale, pull that pelvic floor in and up. Okay, so that's what you're going to feel like you're doing during these exercises. So from here, you're going to keep your imprint. And today, we're going to roll up. We're going to articulate our spine. So exhale, roll, lift the hips. So you've exhaled, you're pulling that pelvic floor in and up. You're going to have an inhale at the top. And then you're going to exhale as you take the vertebrae down one at a time. Nice job. And exhale, peel the vertebrae up one at a time. Relaxed upper body. Inhale at the top, exhale, lower down, one vertebrae at a time, releasing that imprint at the bottom. So you pelvic curl, tilt the pelvis up, tilt your pubic bone up towards the sky, and then lift. Squeeze the glutes at the top, you don't have to go any higher than this, and then roll it back down. Now we're going to go into our bridge lift. So here we're not articulating our spine, we're just pressing our hips, using our glutes to press our hips towards the ceiling. So you lift and lower down for 8, for 7, for 6, for 5, last 4, and 3, 2, and 1, lower down with control. You're going to grab your ball or your towel, whichever one you have, and place it in between your inner thighs. I'm going to place mine pretty high up in between my inner thighs, further away from my knees. And we're going to press up with an exhale and a squeeze on the ball. So exhale, squeeze the ball as you come up, and then lower down. So that should allow you to connect to those lower abs. Your inner thighs and your low abs work together. Exhale, press those hips up. And press and squeeze. And squeeze. Good job. Inhaling and exhaling here. Nice relax through the upper body. Fingers long on the mat. For 6. For 5. For 4. For 3. Last 2. And 1, hold up. Hold here and little squeeze in on your ball or on your towel. Little squeeze, so nice and long through the lower spine, keeping the glutes, the buttocks turned on here, and squeeze the ball for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and lower everything down with control. Nice work. All right, taking that ball out again, we're gonna place it off to the side. We're gonna go back, whoops, sliding away, back to our marches. So we're gonna imprint our spine, tabletop those legs, and we're gonna take one leg down at a time, keeping that imprint on the mat. So we visited this in our stage 1. You should be feeling more connected to your low abs. You might be able to take it a little bit faster. So you're keeping that low back pressed onto the mat, not letting the rib cage pop open here. If you feel like you can't get your leg all the way down, then just don't. So don't push it. And down and lift. Down and lift. So inhale that leg down, exhale, lift. And lift. And lift. 2 more sets. Left and right and left and right. Nice job. And now we're going to take both feet to the floor, hip distance apart. You're going to take your left leg out long. So single leg, lift and lower. We've got our right leg grounded on the mat. So keep your imprint and you're going to lower and lift. Lower and lift. So this is much easier than having both legs straight out and lowering and lifting. You're just keeping that imprint on the mat. If this is too much for you, you're going to go back to that single leg march with the bent knee. So for me, my hamstrings are naturally tight. So my leg, even when I'm trying to lift it all the way up towards the sky, I meet some resistance. If that's you, that's okay. You can have a slight bend in that knee. Last 3 and 2 and 1. Lower that leg down. Ground that foot, take that right leg up to tabletop, shoot it out at 45 degrees. You're gonna lower and lift towards the sky. Feel that active hamstring stretch. Feel the length on the front of the body as you lower that leg and exhale, lift it up. So our hips are stable here. They're not moving side to side. If they are, you need to take your movement smaller. So it's a smaller lower and lift. The goal here is to have control of the hips, control of the low back on the mat. Good. For 3, for 2, and 1. Ground that leg. Nice work. Now we're going to press up into our bridge position. Take a deep breath here. You're going to exhale, press it up. Now you're going to keep your hips level. We're going to go into a single leg march. So hips are level. You're going to take your left leg to tabletop. Holding that leg in tabletop, press through that right foot. Hips level. Don't let one shimmy off to the side. And tap the mat and lift. Tap and lift it up. For 5, for 4, for 3, last 2, last 1. Lower that leg down and lower yourself all the way down. All right, we're going to go to the other side. So pressing those hips up towards the sky, lift that right leg to tabletop, level hips to start. Make sure, check in with yourself. Good, and now tap the mat, lift it up. Tap the mat, lift it up. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nice job. Lower that leg down and lower one vertebrae at a time. Nice work. All right, so we'll work on that with our endurance. We can add more repetitions to that as you get stronger. I'm going to come onto my left side now, and we're going to come into a modified side plank. So I'm going to keep my knees down. This is a way to really rediscover your obliques without putting too much outward pressure on your abdominal wall. So we're going to shorten the lever of how long we have to hold up by keeping our knees bent. So you're going to take your left shoulder or your left elbow right underneath your shoulder, press the hips forward. So push the hips forward. My legs, my shins are parallel to the end of the mat, and just hold. We've got 20 seconds here. Hold. Good. For 15, 12, 11, 10. Open through the collarbone. Relax through the upper body. Touch those obliques to turn them on. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and lower it down. Nice job. From here, we're gonna come on up and stretch those obliques out on that side. So you don't wanna go too much into your oblique work yet. You can practice your side planks and get stronger with those modified side planks. But we really wanna focus on knitting the core back together, so too much oblique work can actually cause more harm than good. From here, before we go to the other side, we're gonna transition onto all fours. So coming onto all fours, you're gonna take your right leg up. So I'm gonna grab my ball, or you can grab your towel. So if you have a towel, you're just gonna take it and squeeze it behind that right knee. All right, so it's nice and tight. And our hands are under our shoulders, your knees under your hip. You're gonna square your hips off, so don't open up to the side, keep them square. So you're gonna drop that knee down, lift, squeeze in on that towel. Down, lift, squeeze in. Soft through the elbows, lift, squeeze it in. So more glute work here, squeeze it in. But the other goal is to keep our hips facing the mat, which requires those abs, that deep abdominal connection, that transverse abdominis that wraps around our hip bones and keeps our low back stable. And lift and squeeze. Good, 2 more, squeeze. And last one, lift, squeeze, hold. Squeeze in for 8, 7, 6. So there goes my towel. 5, 4, 3, 2. So you can do it without anything. 1, and lower it down. Nice work. We're actually going to get rid of that towel anyway to do our next exercise, which is the fire hydrant. So we're going to work on the side of our seat here, which requires even more stabilization through the abs. So you're going to take that right leg, lift it up, keep it slightly behind your left leg, lift it out to the side without moving the hips, and lower it down. So it's open and close, open and close. And everybody has a different range of motion with their hips, but you should really feel the side of your seat working here and engaging. Lift and lower. For 5, for 4, last 3, 2, and 1. Nice work. Lower that leg down. We're going to switch legs. So you're going to take your towel or your ball. I'm going to continue to use the towel. All right, so we're going to take our nice soft bend in our elbows, squeeze that ball or towel with your left hamstring and calf and flex the foot. You're going to lift it towards the sky, squeeze in, lower it down. Lift and squeeze and lower it down. So keep those hips squared off towards the mat. Check in with yourself. Make sure you're not sagging through your low back. So pull that belly in. Exhale as you knit those ribs together and squeeze in on that towel or ball. Good. Last 3, 2, and hold up on 1. Little squeeze for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower that leg down. Take that towel out and we'll move into our fire hydrant with our left leg. So you take that left leg slightly behind the right, lift and lower down. Lift and lower down. Lift it up and lower it down. For 6, no movement in the hips. For 5, for 4, last 3, and 2, and 1. Nice work. All right, lower that leg down. We're going to shift over to our other side for our side plank. So coming onto your right side, taking your shins, lining them up parallel with the end of the mat, and taking your right elbow underneath your right shoulder. You're going to press the hips forward, and you're going to hold for 20 seconds. Good. So really feeling that bottom glute and those right obliques. Hold for 15. Open through the collarbone. Good for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower it down. Nice work. We're going to press it up, stretch that side. Good job. All right, coming up through the center. Now we're gonna grab your ball or your towel and you're gonna place it in between your inner thighs. So we're gonna come to seated, sitting up nice and tall on our sits bones. So this should feel good to you, especially if you've been holding your baby a lot, nursing. If you really wanna open through the chest, through the collarbone, you can grab behind the thighs and open up through the chest. Now, we're gonna do half rollbacks. So you're gonna squeeze in on that ball. As you roll past your sits bones, finding that C curve in the spine, exhale, hollow out that belly. You should feel that lowermost abdominal muscle, that transverse abdominis contract. It's almost like your hip bones are coming closer together. And then sit it up. So exhale, roll it back, little squeeze in on that ball or that towel, and lift it up. For 6, and lift. For 5, and lift. Now, as you exhale back, draw that pelvic floor in and up. Good. Last 4, and 3. Drop the shoulders out of the ears. Last 2. And on the last one, hold it back. Can you release your hands here and a little squeeze in on that ball or that towel? Squeeze for 8, 7, 6, 5. Hollow out that belly for 3, 2, 1. Sit up nice and tall, opening through that chest. Nice work. We're going to come through seated, just sitting Indian style, nice and tall, and we're going to work on our breathing here. So you're going to take your hands on your rib cage. You're going to inhale, feel the whole rib cage expand. So you can take your thumbs around the back of your rib cage and your finger around the front. Inhale, feel that rib cage expand in all directions. And then exhale, drawing that pelvic floor away from the mat. So when you're seated, you can really have that feeling of your pelvic floor being heavy on the mat or pulling it away. So when you inhale, you want to let your pelvic floor be heavy on the mat, so relax. That allows all the air to come down in through your lungs and allows for that change in pressure to happen so you can get your full breath. Now, as you exhale, you pull that pelvic floor or pull your bottom away from the mat. So the mat or the floor works as good feedback for getting back in touch for those that sling of muscles down there, and it also allows for you to feel yourself breathing into your whole thoracic cavity. Your diaphragm has a tendency to not move as far when you're pregnant because clearly there's a baby in the way, so it doesn't go down and up as much as it usually does. So you kind of have to retrain your diaphragm to work fully for you to get that nice deep breath. So nice deep inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth, drawing that pelvic floor in and up. Inhale, relax the pelvic floor. Fill the lungs up with air and slowly exhale through the mouth as you draw that pelvic floor in and up. Nice work. So you can work on that breathing any time of day. You don't need to be doing a workout to work on your breathing, but it will help you. Surprisingly, it will definitely help you reconnect to those deep muscles faster than any of the actual workout type material. So I definitely encourage you to practice your breathing throughout your day, just short little bursts. I know you're tired and it's a lot to think about, but we hope you've enjoyed this stage 2 workout. You can come back to these exercises whenever. I would suggest doing these 2 to 3 times a week in any order, really, just to increase your strength and to keep that healing coming along. And then eventually you can add in your favorite activities. So we hope you've enjoyed this workout and you'll join us again soon for stage 3. Have a great day.